Hello and welcome back to a new episode of the Global Glug. My name is Renato Molo and today I'm with Antonio Lopez, founder of Samai Distillery in Cambodia. Hello Antonio, how are you? Thank you very much for your time.
Hello, Renato. How are you? Yeah, thank you very much for this invitation to be here and to see you here and get to share the stories and talk about rum.
Yeah, it has been a while. We are talking. We had a couple of chats also about rare spirits. We are going to talk later about your this other project you have. But first of all, I wanted to ask you. Yeah, I'm curious about you. So you told me you also had a past in Switzerland. I'm from Switzerland as well. You went at the hotel school there, and you are from Venezuela, if I'm not wrong. So
Correct, yeah.
how come a Venezuelan guy ends up in Laos? Sorry, in Cambodia,
Okay.
and opens a distillery in Cambodia. What happened?
Definitely, definitely. So yeah, I'm from Venezuela. I grew up there and I was there until I was 18 years old. And I always wanted to do something different, right? I wanted always to try something different, and that's why I started like traveling the world. My first stop was actually in Switzerland, so we are where you're from. I was in Valais studying hospitality management. I went to Le Roche Hospitality School. So I was there for almost 4 years. I did a couple of internships. So I was living also in the Caribbean, and I for a few months in Aruba and a few months in San Barthélemy, working for hotels. And then when I graduated from there, I ended up in China, right? So I ended up in Shanghai working for hotels where I spent almost 3 years. I was also learning Mandarin and everything. So I was really getting involved with the culture and the people there, right? And after a few years there, I decided to study an MBA. So I was looking to stay around Asia, and I was looking at different options of MBAs, and I found the one at the National University of Singapore, which I got into. So then I moved to Singapore, right? And in Singapore, I was studying the full-time MBA. I was traveling a lot around Asia, and I thought Singapore was going to be my home forever. I was planning that, but then I went to Cambodia as a tourist
Hmm.
and stayed for 10 years. That's how much Cambodia captivated me.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing, going from Singapore, which is, as you may know, a financial center, you know, a super developed country, going to Cambodia, which is completely opposite with the chaos, the anarchy. I think that's what pulled me as well. So I decided to move to Cambodia, and my first project there was, into F&B. Having a hospitality background, I opened a couple restaurants, a cocktail
So
bar.
you were always in the F&B, so with drinks already, with
Yeah, correct.
cocktail. Okay.
And there I opened a couple of restaurants and a cocktail bar, speakeasy style. So that, yeah, I was dealing with alcohol, and there I met a friend of mine that we used to study at the same school in Caracas. He was also living there for different reasons, Daniel Pacheco, and also from Venezuela. So we met there and we, became friends again. And being from Venezuela, as you can imagine, we have a rum culture, right? So we do have a passion for rum. We were there and we saw that I was dealing with beverages, and it was difficult to find rums in Cambodia at that time. Even imported rums, you could find only like three brands.
When was it, more or less?
That was in 2000, end of 2010 when I moved there. Yeah, 2010, 11. And then it was difficult to find even imported rums, But then we noticed that there is a lot of sugarcane in Cambodia, but there was no local rum. And for us, for Daniel and me, that made no sense at all. So we embarked on
Okay.
that mission to build Cambodia's first rum distillery and first rum brand that we built from scratch. That was in
Okay.
2014.
So now it's 10 years you are around,
10 years.
and 10 years. And I know I read in an article as well, recently, I think you published it on LinkedIn, about the Cambodian culture. I mean, Cambodians are not really, they were never really into rum. There, it's more whiskey. drinker country, if I can say so. How was the first impact when you started to producing rum as foreigner in Cambodia? And how did the Cambodians perceive it? I mean, how did they accepted it? Or if not, how were they looking at you?
Definitely. So when we started with this idea of producing rum in Cambodia, actually a lot of people didn't know what rum was, right? And a lot of people were saying, I don't think you should do this because there's a reason there's no rum here. But for our mentality, it was completely opposite. It's like, I mean, there's no rum here yet, but you need a local rum. You know, for us, it was more like the passion is so strong that we were like, Cambodia needs a rum. And yeah, they didn't know much about it. Actually, when we started, we went to the Ministry of Commerce, the Ministry of Manufacturing, of Agriculture, trying to figure out what kind of permits we need to produce rum. And everywhere we went, people looked at us with a face like, what are you talking about? Know about what kind of permits we need to produce rum. It was only 3 years later that some of these ministries started contacting us saying, okay, you should get a permit for this and that, right? So, and at the beginning, the first few years, so something that we did to educate the local people about rum, because we knew that they had limited knowledge about the rum itself, was that we open our distillery to the public every Thursday night. So every Thursday night, you can go to our distillery. We will have bartenders, music, and you are consuming and trying different cocktails based on rum and doing the tasting flights inside the distillery, surrounded by the barrels, by the fermentation tanks. And at the beginning, that helped a lot to educate. But at the beginning, everybody was calling it whiskey. So, oh, this is a whiskey distillery, because the word rum was actually almost non-existent. It was either whiskey or wine. They will also call us, oh yeah, you produce wine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was definitely a big learning curve for Cambodians to learn what is actually rum. And we still today, after 10 years, we're still open every Thursday night to the public. Now people at the beginning, the first few years was mainly expats and foreigners who will come to our distillery and enjoy that. If you go today, it's around 80 to 90% Cambodian customers that we get into the distillery. So it has changed, it has evolved into that.
And also, it's always, I see it also here, we have a restaurant, and it's also important to have local customers. I mean, mainly normally you focus on foreigners because, of course, they already have the knowledge, but once you get the locals, then you can keep also the business is turning, it's easier also for your business to produce rum. And now, so you are basically selling your rums also for the local market. I read mainly hotels, high-end places, or also among locals. How does it work? How does a Cambodian drink,
Yeah.
for example? How is the habits there?
So yeah, nowadays it's very accessible right now in different locations. We sell because we have the bar open to the public, and it became like a brand house. So also we're starting to open sometimes on Saturdays, that we started actually very, very recently on Saturdays, and also other days of the week. We do like master classes or cocktail classes and tours, because we have changed our main distillery to a new location, because we were expanding. The space was getting too small for our production. So
Sorry, where are you exactly
yeah,
in Cambodia? Where? In the
in
capital
Phnom
city?
Penh. So we've always been in the city center, literally like the city center of Phnom Penh. But now, since a few months ago, we got a new location, a factory that is 3 to 4 times bigger than the actual one. So the original one. So the original one became more of like a brand house. So we do sell products directly, but we also are working with wholesalers. We're also working with some liquor stores that are nationwide. So they're not only in Phnom Penh, but in Siem Reap, in
Mm-hmm.
other cities.
Yeah.
You can see it in a lot of bars, cocktail bars. All the five-star hotels, they have Samai rum. Um, and but it's so it's quite the duty free as well, for example. So in the duty free at the airport, you find Samai. So it's now you can find it in different shops, bars, restaurants, five-star hotels, duty free. But being a craft distillery and with very small production, but in very high quality and handcrafted, it is a rum that is a little bit priced above other rums,
Yeah.
other imported rum.
And what does the Cambodian medium rum drinker drink? Mainly white rum, or does it like also aged rum? How does it, the approach you have with the...
Yeah, so at Samai we have four main products, right? So we have the Samai White Rum, which
Yeah.
is still aged. So it's a blend between pot still and column still. Then we age it for 2 years in ex-bourbon barrels, and then we do a charcoal filter process to extract a bit the color, right? So it's still an aged premium rum, but it's the white rum. Then we have the gold rum, which I would say is the one that it's drink the most in Cambodia. It's actually the gold rum, which is aged from 2 to 4 years. Sometimes we add 5 years in the blend. And that's a blend between also mainly pot still. So it's around 80% pot still, 20% column. And there's ex-bourbon, French oak, American oak, and sherry cask in the blend. Then we have a spiced category rum, which is the Samai Kampot Pepper Rum. This I would say is our flagship product. So Kampot Pepper is considered one of the best peppers in the world.
Okay.
It's one of the only peppers with the denomination of origin, which is controlled. So only in a small section of the province of Kampot you can produce this pepper, and it has to be certified by the denomination of origin, right? And I believe it's the most expensive pepper in the world. If you go to buy it in Europe, it's like difficult to find and very expensive. So we actually do a spice rum with only that one spice. So there's a spice rum you can add like cinnamon, vanilla, clove. In this case, we say, okay, if in Cambodia we have the best pepper in the world, which is the Kampot pepper, why mix it with other spices? So we did only that one. And then we have a Pedro Jimenez rum liqueur that we took some barrels of Pedro Jimenez there, and we actually add the aged rum in the Pedro Jimenez, but the Pedro Jimenez still has Pedro Jimenez inside. That's why it's not a rum aged or finished in Pedro Jimenez cask. It's literally a liqueur.
Okay.
With the rum. So I would say that Cambodians are mainly between the middle two, right? So they are into the gold rum, which is the age, and the Kampot pepper, because for them, that is used almost every day in their diet, in the food.
Yeah.
For cooking, Kampot pepper is a must. Even me, like I travel with a Kampot pepper grinder in my luggage everywhere I go, because I was never a pepper person before, but Kampot pepper transforms you. So yeah, Cambodians are more into the gold and the Kampot pepper rum.
What about, yes, you were talking about the pot still and the column still you're using. Can I ask you what type of pot still and column still you are using? Is that something you bought from Europe maybe, or something locally made? What can you tell us about?
Yeah, so the pot still, we brought it from Portugal. So it's 100% copper pot stills, handmade. 500. We have two of them at the moment, which are 500 liters each.
Okay.
And they have like this onion head. So it's so you have the pot, the onion head, and then you have a rectifying lentil, which actually makes us be able to distill our rum in one run. So we don't have to do double distillation.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that rectifying lentil, which is retort system, I think some call it, or actually what it does is that it actually lets the vapors condense inside the pot still and then go back. So only the finest vapor of the distillation goes through to eventually get distilled. And so we have two of those, and then our column still, we have it's only a 200-liter column. The pot is copper, and it has 7 plates of distillation. But then it has the second one as well that you can do like for gin style. So for example, for the Kampot Pepper Rum, we also do a vapor infusion system, like similar to the gin. So we use that, and we also use the pot stills that are only, if I'm not mistaken, 30-liter pot stills. So they're very, very small. The same as the 500 liters from Portugal, 100% copper. We also have 2 of those at 30 liters to do vapor infusion, which is really distilling rum with the pepper as a bath. But we also do infusion, normal infusions as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the Kampot Pepper Rum is like a blend between many ingredients.
And all your rums are molasses-based rums, or you are also experimenting with juices?
We wanted to create something more towards the let's call it Spanish style or Latin style rums by using molasses. So we buy molasses from the south of Cambodia, from Kokong,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, we ferment 100% from molasses.
Okay, yeah. And recently I was listening. So, I live in Colombia. The problem is always I don't get all the products. Your products, it's impossible to get. It's the problem here. But I heard a podcast, the Romcast, they were talking about a new product coming from Samai Distillers, the flagship from La Maison du Vin. And I wanted to ask you, I'm curious about how this process works. I mean, have you been to the company to offer your product, or was it the other way around? How does it work, this doing this selling, I mean, I guess in bulk to these third parties? How does it work? And I think this also helps you for your brand to take your brand out there.
Definitely. So actually they contacted us, and this was before COVID, right? This was probably 2017. That's when we started working with La Maison de Whiskey. So since 2017, we have already been selling Samai rum in France and Singapore through La Maison de Whiskey. That was actually our two first export markets. And since then, we have built that relationship with La Maison de Whiskey. And I believe it was around 2019, just before COVID, that, we spent like around a year discussing this project. So they have been to our distillery to visit a few times from their office in Singapore. And we then started taking samples from different barrels. And they chose, if I'm not mistaken, 4 different barrels. So 1 barrel was for Singapore, specifically for the Singapore market, and then 3 barrels went to France. But that was before COVID. So actually, even for us, that was been a surprise every time. This is the second release that we see from the Flag series, and even for us, it's like, oh wow, that's cool, because they bought the barrels, but then we didn't know for what specific product they were going to bottle it.
So basically, you sell them the barrel and you don't know exactly what they're going to do with your product. Is that correct? Can I say so?
Well, there is a contract, so there are some rules, let's say, that what can do and cannot do. It's just that, we thought at the beginning they could use it for the other brands that they have, like the Transcontinental.
Yeah.
We thought it could be something like that, but I mean, definitely, we don't know exactly what they're going to put, but there are some rules in the contract of what they can write, they cannot.
Yeah.
And all that, yeah.
Interesting, yeah. Now, because also I see this rum. Normally, I saw your rums you sell in the 4 rums you produce are all between 40 and 42 ABV, if I'm not wrong. So they're not that high proof. But this one was, if I'm not wrong, at 57, something like
56,
this. So this is also
something, yeah.
Yeah. Is this something also you can discuss, or they choose? They do it maybe, say, barrel proof, if I can say so.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, that we have been big fans of barrel proof. We have done a few before under the Samai bottling, because those 4 products that we mentioned is just the 4 core products, right? But we have done some single cask, we have done some partnerships, and we are actually launching a new single cask by the end of the month, because remember that right now it's 2024, it's 10 years of Samai Distillery, right? So we're launching a 10-year. It's not a 10-year-old rum, because at the beginning we were unable to keep a barrel from day one, because we were so small that we had to use the product. Yeah, correct. But if I'm not mistaken, it's like a 7-year-old rum, and we're doing a single cask. I don't know what strength, but so that's something that we are happy that it's being done, because if La Maison de Whiskey is actually bottling a single cask, I mean, for us that's good news, because that means, like, there's no need to add anything to change what it was. So they're actually bottling the liquid that we produce as it is. So for us, that's Yeah, that's amazing, you know.
Yeah, of course. And again, it takes you to the next level because they give you a lot of visibility and people start talking about you and maybe new project coming. And this is the things that a small distillery, yeah, of course, is looking for. I wanted to ask you also about what's next for Samai. So any project that you have are going on, maybe, yes, you told me single cast, maybe something else, I don't know, getting
Yeah,
bigger one day or exporting the
definitely.
countries you're exporting. You told me Europe, Singapore. Is it difficult to export? How does everything work with Samai
Yeah,
from Cambodia?
definitely is very difficult to export for Cambodia. There's a lot of bureaucracy there, and also because we were, yeah, I could say the first distillery to start exporting from there. So we were creating an industry and changing the game a bit, right? So exporting alcohol was new for everyone there, right?
Hmm.
We have had issues where they think that our bottles are considered dangerous goods, right? Because dangerous goods is when you actually sell bulk in 1,000 liters at cask strength, for example. But
Yeah.
when you're bottling at 70 cl at 41%, it's not dangerous good. But still, because there was a lack of this experience for everyone in Cambodia, we have found a lot of setbacks and difficulties. But at the end of the day, everything is always resolved one way or another. So we are expanding to new markets. In Asia, for example, we're working with La Maison de Whiskey because La Maison de Whiskey Singapore are actually a hub for other countries as well, right? So they have partners in different countries, in different markets. So we're working with them. They helped us open Malaysia, for example. We found Samai Rum. You can now buy it in Australia, and
Hmm.
it was actually not through us. It was also a surprise for us to see that Samai is officially in Australia, but because of re-export from other suppliers. Right now, there's a container coming from Cambodia to Denmark, where we will have it in a bonded warehouse. So that will make it easier for us to enter new markets in Europe because so far, all the orders from different markets in Europe have been made directly with us in Cambodia. So that means shipping one, two, three containers at a time. Pardon, sorry, not containers, pallets
Yeah.
when you're, it becomes extremely expensive when you're just sending one pallet, two pallets, three pallets. Now what we did is we are sending one container to a bonded warehouse that is still ours in our name. So then from there we can actually sell to different markets in Europe with the stock that we already have in Europe. So that will definitely open new markets. There is just arrived also in Poland. So Poland is the new official market as well. So definitely step by step, we are entering new markets, but it's still step by step because our capacity of production is still really small.
Yeah.
But we are, sorry,
Yeah, no, I just wanted to, yeah, of course, point out that also sometimes when you do contracts with bigger companies, they ask you to have big quantities. If you don't match the minimum quantities, you cannot really get into a market.
definitely. Yeah. But this will make it easier for that, that we can have more products there. And because right now, if La Maison de Whiskey, for example, makes an order from us, it could take 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
Since the order is placed, we prepare, we send, takes 2 months in a boat, and then all the import. Right now it could probably take a week or so, when
Yeah,
we have the stock there.
of course.
But also we are growing our production. So we are also right now, as we speak, in a fundraising. So we
Okay.
have already signed a few new investors, but we haven't closed the round yet. So the idea with this round is to really grow because we've made like around 5 different rounds before of investment, but the previous rounds were mainly for foundations, to get
Hmm.
more
Yeah.
established. But right now, the round that we are right now, it's the round for expansion. It's the round for growing our production capacity. That's why we took the new factory that we moved a few months ago. Is because of this current round that we are racing to buy new pot stills, new column stills, a lot of new barrels, expanding the team as well. And
How many people work with you? How many
right
people?
now we are around 20.
Okay.
20 people. We do everything in-house because we have marketing, from the administration, let's say, accounting, admin,
Yeah.
marketing to the production itself, because we buy molasses and we do fermentation, distillation, aging, blending, bottling, labeling by hand. We do everything ourselves. So it's around 20 people at the moment. And the idea with this new expansion is to continue growing the team,
Yeah.
to
Yeah, of course. There is a moment that you will need more people. And about Cambodian competitors, is there any big producer or also smaller? I think there are other Cambodian producers around. There are some. I think there is a French guy also doing rum in Cambodia, if I'm not wrong.
correct. So the newest one is this brand called Ampuff,
Mm-hmm.
which I haven't had a chance to try it because last time I went to Cambodia last year, you could still not find it. It was still quite new. So I didn't get a chance to try it yet.
Okay.
But Ampuff is, yeah, it's made by it's a French company, I believe, and they do from sugarcane juice. So they're doing agricole style rums. And before them and after us, there was another brand of rum, but I believe it's not running anymore, right?
Okay.
So they started a few years after us, and I believe they stopped already.
Okay. Maybe big difficulties or maybe.
Yeah, I'm not I'm not 100% sure.
I think
But
it's a
yeah, there
tough.
was a couple of another brand, and I don't know any other. There's a few gins right now, but it's in rum. I believe it's only us two at the moment.
Yeah, and I think it's a tough market doing rum, alcohol in general speaking, because the market is so saturated. So I can imagine also you, maybe the one moment in your career since you opened, have you ever had a moment where you said, "Oh no, please, fuck it, I want to stop. It's too complicated." Have you ever had this sensation, or could you always keep
Wow,
going?
not at all, not at all,
Okay.
never. For us, it's been such an exciting thing to create because we pretty much created like an industry, right? Like it
Hmm.
didn't exist at all, right? And that process of, like trying to get the pot stills and barrels for the first time ever, the Cambodia received wooden barrels. They wouldn't understand why you would want an empty barrel, like
Yeah.
why are you importing this? Like honestly, it was the most beautiful process to create something from scratch.
Hmm.
And that's the passion that we have as entrepreneurs, right? Because at the end of the day, we are entrepreneurs that for me, what excites me is this. For me, it excites me to have an idea in my mind, have a lot of people saying that it's a really bad idea and you should not do it. That's where I get the most excitement to actually actually do it. And yes, it's gotten super difficult. I mean, it's gotten extremely difficult. So I'm not saying that it was a piece of cake.
Of course.
And there has been moments that we have been very stressed, very worried, and yes, have been moments that you could say like, shit, like we
Why?
we we could close in a moment because if we don't do it well, whatever. But I think that's different from us saying, okay, fuck it, let's just I shouldn't do this. It was different. It was more like we will find a solution, right? We always know that a solution is there, and I think, having that persistence, that perseverance to actually keep going, keep going, keep going. Hopefully we can prove in a few more years that okay, it makes sense, it makes sense to do it. And it's always easy to give up and say fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
That's easy. That I could do tomorrow if we wanted to, but it kind of never crosses our minds, I believe.
Yeah, that's the persistence is the most important thing. Also, we, of course, here we are running a business, and it's never easy. Different culture, different mentality, but it's everything is possible as long as you have, as you say, the passion, and if you want to keep going, you will never give up. Speaking of your activity, so you live in Madrid, isn't it? In Spain, correct?
I'm in Spain. I'm right now
Okay,
in Malaga.
okay.
But I could say that Madrid could be the base, but I'm kind of a nomad at the moment.
Okay. So you're also the founder or co-founder of Rare Spirits. This is. Can you explain us exactly what Rare Spirit is and what's the aim of this group?
Yeah, that's a very tough question. What is Rare Spirit Society?
How did you start with? Why did you decide to start with Rare Spirit?
Sure, sure. So Rare Spirit Society, it's a global community of rum aficionados. Let's say we have right now almost 700 members from more than 35 countries around the world, and it's you have people who enjoy a glass of rum, and rum is their to-go spirit, and they're passionate about it, but they're not necessarily from the industry. They just enjoy rum.
Mm-hmm.
But then we also have collectors, people who collect bottles, people who own barrels. We have distillery owners, brand owners, chemical engineers, rum maestros, distributors. So we actually have had the capacity and been able to create this community that connects consumers with producers and everything in between,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is a project that it was it was founded by Luigi Rockets and myself. So we're the two co-founders of Rare Spirit Society. We started in June of 2023 of last year, and this idea started. I believe it was pre-COVID or around COVID, but it had nothing to do with COVID. It's just that it was around that area when I met Luigi in Madrid, because he also lives in Madrid. So we met there, and he's also very passionate about rum. So we started, like spending time together, going out, and as a Venezuelan, he loved rum, but he didn't know all this, like crazy
What's
stuff
behind?
about Jamaican, funk rums and all these things. So he started getting like excited and interested about this world of rum. So we decided to create this community online to kind of share the knowledge of rum, because he said that if he loves rum and doesn't know much, he said, I'm sure pretty much everyone or a lot of people are in the same situation. So why don't let's share this world of rum with everyone, right? So that's how pretty much started. We worked for like a year or more before we launched to actually understand what we want to do with the society.
Mm-hmm.
And there's many different arms that we have, right? Because we're a community, right? So we're all together, we're sharing knowledge, we're discussing rum, but it definitely goes beyond that, right? So at Rare Spirit Society, we have three. The Rare Spirit Society cocktail has three main ingredients, right? So one ingredient is 1 ounce of exploration spirit, 2 ounces of rare rums, and 3 ounces of community. So this is how we can explain the society. So the exploration spirit is about this educational part, right? So we travel also the world in search of rums, right? And we bring our members with us. We have created a documentary series that we just started this year, actually. So
Yes.
we filmed the first episode. So the pilot was filmed in Cambodia. We filmed it last year. So 8 members of Rare Spirit Society came with us. We went to Cambodia for 10 days, and we traveled all over Cambodia, including a visit to Samai Distillery to showcase the country and its rums, right? So we have this tagline that says, to fall in love with a rum, you must fall in love with its country. So rum is not like, okay, this is rum from Cambodia. No, it's also about like, what is the culture of Cambodia? What is the food of Cambodia? The music, its people, right? All this actually represents what Cambodian rum is all about, right? And that's where we bought 4 different barrels from Cambodia, right? We're already planning next year the trip to Venezuela,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully
Yeah.
in May. And we're discussing also, we want to go to Jamaica, Barbados. We're thinking now that we live in Spain, Spain has a lot of history tied to rum. And so that's part of the exploration spirit. We also do the master classes, which you have been to some of them, which is kind of new, but having like a couple master classes per month to share knowledge, right, between our members. Then the rare rum is our second ingredient. And that's because we, like mentioned, we own right now 13 different barrels. We have barrels from Cambodia, Salvador, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. And the idea is that they're aging at the moment. And once they get aged and we do the bottling, so the members of Rare Spirit Society will have access to those bottles, right? Plus, they choose the barrels with us. So if you see the documentary in Cambodia, you can see us trying different barrels and members voting, okay, let's get this barrel. So we chose, I think it was a 60-year-old French oak, 100% pot still rum. And then the third ingredient is the community, because this is really what we are all about, connecting people all around the world and bringing the rum industry upwards, right? So that's like a little intro of what the three main components of Rare Spirit Society.
Can anyone be member of the group, of the WhatsApp? Because you have the WhatsApp group, which is the Speakeasy. You are going to change it, I saw. You are going to change the name. But is this open for everyone? Let's say it's open space.
Well, in a way it is. So the Speakeasy the name will stay the same. It's still the Speakeasy. So the Speakeasy for us is where we all meet, right? So it's the first room, let's say, when you go to a Speakeasy bar, like that's where we all meet, where we all discuss, be it a paid member or a freemium member, we are all there. Now, we're trying to grow that community within the Speakeasy, and then the rebranding that you mentioned, it's like, okay, the Speakeasy is where we all meet, but then there is 3 tiers of membership that people can decide which tier they want to be a part of. But all members from the different tiers are still within the Speakeasy, right? So
yes,
the initiates will be the first tier of membership, and that will be freemium. So that will always be freemium. So you still can be a member of Rare Spirit Society in that freemium tier. Then there will be a second tier that will be called the Legends. This will be there will be an annual fee, and of course that will get you access to more different benefits from the society. For example, the Speakeasy being the main group in the WhatsApp, we are planning to open around 5, 6 to start with, maybe more later, different groups more targeted to specific needs of our members, right? So we see there's a lot of members that are looking for distributors, or a lot of members that are wanting to sell. We get a lot of contacts from people that want to sell barrels.
uh-huh.
Yesterday was somebody saying, I have barrels. No, that was today. So I have barrels that are pretty much collectible within the $50,000 range. So we don't want to be spamming in the Speakeasy like people offering too many things. So we will create a room specifically for, let's say, people who are collecting or selling collectible barrels. But then for these specific groups, only the Legends and the Sugarcanes, which is the third tier of membership, that they pay a lifetime fee. So it's a fee one time, and they're members for lifetime. Them and the Legends, which will be an annual fee, they will be the ones with access to these other groups. And the Initiates, which is freemium, they can only be at the Speakeasy. Now, right now, anybody from the rum industry, yes, can enter the Speakeasy. But as you know, like there's a limit, right? We want to limit it so there will not be more than 1,000 people. I think WhatsApp actually gives you a maximum of 1,050 that you can have in one group. We were even thinking to cap it at 800 maybe, or 800 members maximum. So what will happen is that then there will be a moment where no more people can enter the Speakeasy. So then we will then give more priorities to, okay, the paid members, the Legends, or the Sugarcanes can be in the Speakeasy. But for now, it's like anyone can join. But of course, as long as they are from the rum industry, otherwise it makes no sense for them to be there.
Of course. It's like a big community where people can interact, and it's really interesting. Sometimes the questions, and you learn every time, and it's really interesting to have groups like this. Yeah, for personal knowledge, or of course, if you want to sell, this is another history. But at least we can share knowledge.
Definitely.
I have to wrap it up, a last question to you about the rums, Samai.
Sure.
What do you think the legacy you will give to Cambodia with your rum in, say, next 20 years?
Wow. Well, being Cambodia's first rum, and actually we chose a name, the brand name Samai. Actually, we chose it. It's a Cambodian word, right? That means looking towards the future, a next generation, daydream, modern. So we actually chose that word because that's what we're doing. We're creating a new industry, a new company for the new generation of Cambodians, for the modern Cambodia, where they can daydream, with and it's a word that normally when you say the Samai word to a Cambodian, they normally smile because it has a very positive connotation, right? So that's what we wanted to do. It's a brand that Cambodians feel proud that it is their brand, right? So yes, there's two Venezuelan guys behind it who are the co-founders, but it is a Cambodian brand, and we want people to feel that it is their brand, right? So also it's about creating a premium product, right? Because when people that have never been to Cambodia, you tell them that there's a product from Cambodia, they will probably believe that it is of lower quality than a product from somewhere else. So for us, what we have been trying to do is to actually also bring the Cambodian name in the export markets upwards, to tell people Cambodia can actually produce a premium quality product, be it spirits or be it anything else. I mean, Kampot Pepper is already doing a good job at that, positioning themselves as the best pepper in the world. But that's something that we really wanted to do. It's like to show the world outside of Cambodia that Cambodia can produce premium quality products. So I believe that's what we could leave to them is a brand that is very Cambodian. They should feel proud of and putting the Cambodia name in a high position outside of Cambodia.
Yeah, that's really nice to do. Sometimes I think I also have an experience here in Colombia. Sometimes people, example, cacao or coffee. The majority of cacao and coffee was always exported, but now they have this knowledge. The industrials also, or smaller companies, that they can do quality cacao, and they start to produce chocolate here. So it's something which sometimes you have to learn. It takes time, but yeah, it's also thanks to people like you that locals can take pride of what they are doing and what they have locally, because sometimes they take it for granted and they don't really give added value to the product. But that's really nice that people can change their mind and can use their product to take them a higher level.
And just to complete that, if I have time, is
Please.
that
Yes.
we actually, our master distiller her name is Champik, Dara Champik Moang. She's Cambodia's first rum maestro, of course,
Okay. Yeah.
and she has been with us in the team since day one. She was the first person that we hired back in 2014 and started working with us. So she's a chemical engineer. She did a master's in fermentation, but she was specialized on rice spirits because
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
what the other spirit that they produce in Cambodia is the rice wines and rice spirits. So she did her master's in fermentation of rice. And then we taught her the beautiful world of rum. And since then, she has been with us till today. She has been involved in every part of the process, of course, from fermenting, distilling, and now blending and the whole process. So it's also interesting to say that our master distiller is Cambodian grown because she learned the industry there together with us, and she's actually I could say the big boss of Samai. It's
Yeah.
Champik, So that's
Yeah.
also interesting to just, like it is a Cambodian person behind the whole
Yeah, and,
production
and maybe
process.
she has also her little secrets for the fermentation process gives
Definitely,
also to the rum your how do you say, your personal touch, if I can say so.
definitely.
Okay, Antonio, I don't know if you have something, a last thing you would like to add. I forgot to ask you. Anything you would like to say to wrap it up?
No, so what I could say is that Thank you very much for the opportunity to share the two stories of Samai Distillery and Rare Spirit Society. I mean, we are in a few markets at the moment in Europe, Asia. We're not yet in the US, but what I could say, if you want to try something different, of course, and you want to know more about it, I mean, feel free also to contact me, directly, and I can answer any other questions for if people, our listeners, have any questions.
I will put, or if you give me your permission, I will put your email so people also can contact you, the website, all the details, so they can contact you.
Definitely. In the case of Rare Spirit Society, yeah, we're growing this community every day, connecting rum consumers, rum aficionados with the rum producers and everything in between. So anybody who's also interested to share their knowledge with the other members, and definitely also I welcome them to join us at Rare Spirits. I mean, we're going to be launching the new website of Rare Spirit Society soon, where because right now everything is very manual. How you go into our societies through contacting us directly on WhatsApp and all this, but we are trying to make it easier and through the website. So that will be launched in a couple weeks. So and yeah, all our contacts are there, and happy to always connect with people in the rum industry, and let's bring the rum industry upwards.
Yes, shoulders back.
Shoulders back.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Antonio. And yeah, hasta pronto.
Hasta pronto, Renato. Thank you very much.